There you have it, Manchester United 3, Charlton Athletic 0 as we go through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Good to get to a semi-final as always. The momentum builds and the confidence has been built. That's a 100% record from the World Cup. You know, since we've got back, we've won every single game. I think we only conceded 1 goal as well, I want to say, and that was against Everton, I think. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, Burnley was 3-0. Bournemouth was 3-0. This was 3-0. A lot of 3-0s. I think I've got that right. But anyway, it's a good feeling. You get what I'm trying to say. It's a good feeling ahead of the real crunch games. I said in the league that we needed to win those 3 back-to-back games in Bournemouth, in Forest, in Wolves. And we did that. We've dispatched of Everton. We've dispatched of Charlton tonight as well. And we dispatched of Burnley. So you can't ask for much more than that in terms of that cluster of games, that high intensity or high volume of games from after the World Cup. But with tonight, the performance, look, Erik ten Hag won't be happy with the performance in its entirety. It's almost like, it doesn't matter whether it's our first team playing, all of our starters playing, or whether it's when we make wholesale changes tonight when you can expect it a little bit more, to be fair. We're still struggling to play at the same level throughout the game. And that's whilst it's frustrating, I just think it's just something that we have to accept of where we're at. You know, there was actually quite a lot of sloppiness today, especially in the second half. I think in the first half we were on it. I think we was moving the ball really well. I thought Martinez, you know, when he's back in there, the pace of which he plays the game at, it's almost like he plays at his own pace, but that's infectious on the rest of the team. The pace with his passing, he passes forward, he plays penetrative passes, and he plays clever passes. And also he plays like with an extra 3 or 4 seconds that he gives himself because he just thinks and does things so quickly. And that's infectious. Harry Maguire, obviously with Charlton not pressing, but as you would expect, he had like quite a lot of open passing lanes to keep pinging it out to Garnacho. And in the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes, Garnacho was absolutely at it. I think Charlton were playing a back 5, and the furthest right of that, the guy who had the mask on, he was having a torrid time against him. Garnacho was taking him to the cleaners. But it was just the only thing that was eluding Garnacho was that end product. It was almost like that reminds us just how young he is. You know, he's going to be direct, he's going to be getting at his man, he's going to be taking on players, but he just needs to kind of slow down in that moment. But what I love about him at the moment is the fact that he just keeps going. He just keeps wanting the ball into the second half as well. He could have had an assist with Eriksen. He could have had a goal, forced a good save from the Charlton keeper as well. So throughout the game, he was ever present, which is fantastic. That's what you want to see from him. Anthony scores an absolute worldie, by the way. What a goal that was. Yes, after that, and even a little bit before that, kind of quiet, we're still trying to get, again, that level of consistency from him. He scored a tap-in, I think, against Bournemouth, was it? And again, he was a little bit sketchy after that. Today, he scores a brilliant goal. Couldn't really kick on in terms of being at it, engaging his opposite number. But again, it will come. I think it will come, and we want goals. As long as the team's scoring goals and he's getting opportunities to shoot, that is a positive. In midfield, I just think, obviously, when you take out Casemiro, when you change our whole midfield, Bruno, Eriksen, Casemiro, you can see. And although I got it wrong with the team selection in terms of on the way up here when I was saying, I don't think it would be like Kobe. I literally said, I don't think it would be like Kobe Mainoo and Zidane Iqbal and stuff like that, because we're not at that level to be able to change the team. And Ten Hag wants to take it seriously. So we did change the team a lot, and, rightly so. But I think what we did see as a result of that, with Elanga playing through the middle, Kobe Mainoo just behind that, McTominay and Fred back into midfield, we did see, more so than usual, that that lack of cohesion, that lack of intensity and lack of quality, which is not, that's not a bad thing towards those players. It's not disrespectful. They don't play that much, especially the likes of Kobe Mainoo, young kid coming in, getting his chance to start in front of 75,000 people at Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. That's a fantastic occasion for him, for his family. And I think he was safe, he was neat on the ball, and just tried to make sure he didn't make any mistakes. And I don't mind that. Anthony Elanga was trying to get involved in the game, but just couldn't really do it. And second half, I think was really disappointing, actually, with the way that we came out. I think Ten Hag would have been furious with that, and I think he showed that frustration with bringing on the big guns like he did. To bring on Eriksen, Rashford and Casemiro in one go, that shows intent, but also it shows that, we're not playing very well. And if you're Charlton, you're thinking, what, that's a compliment. That's a compliment. We know they didn't exactly have us on the ropes. Tom Heaton didn't have anything to do. But overall, it shows that we're not playing at the level that we want to play at. And I'll be honest, even when they came on, it didn't instantly change. We wasn't great. I thought Eriksen gave a couple away, Casemiro did. It was just quite infectious in terms of negatively infectious, the way that we was playing. It was spread throughout the whole team. Even Martinez a couple of times getting caught on the ball. Maguire marauding forward. It was just a very messy. And I'll be honest, Charlton were in the game, not forcing the issue. We didn't look like conceding, but they were in the game because it was 1-0. And even when Rashford came on with that cluster of players, with Eriksen and Casemiro, again, I didn't really see him get a touch until he scored. So, you know, and until Pellistri came on, actually, I think that's probably when, again, that coupled with the fact that Charlton knew that the game was over, or would be over unless they go for it, so there was more gaps in behind, that actually we put the game to bed, because it was looking like it was going to just peter out to a 1-0 victory. So, look, it wasn't the best performance, but it's job done. And actually, if I go back to, you know, the positivity side of it and looking at where we are, it's just momentum, man. We got a massive game against City here on the weekend, and we are in perfect form to take them on. Marcus Rashford coming off the bench and scoring 2 goals. You know, he just looks electric. Anytime he's on the ball, you just think he's going to score. It's like an inevitability. Is that 7 goals in a row now, or 8 goals in a row? One of the two. It's just so good to see him back. You know, he's considering where he was last year and how far off it he was, you know, mentally, as a player, as himself, as the guy that we all know he can be, as the player that we all know he can be. To see him playing like this is so good to see. And it doesn't matter who it's against, whether it's in the Premier League, whether it's the Carabao Cup, whether it's the FA Cup, and hopefully here at home against City, he's put himself in a position now where we can say, you know, Rashford is back and he is banging form, almost the form of his life. He's a completely different player. Every time he gets the ball, I'm thinking he's going to score. He's going to score. Or if he doesn't start the game, you know, like against Wolves, like tonight, he's coming off the bench and he's impacting the game at all times. So we can't ask for much more than that. We're so proud of him, to see him doing really well. Roll on City, man. We've got to be at it. Diogo Dalot, injured. There hasn't been anything yet from Erik ten Hag. I hope it was precautionary. It just had to happen, innit? It just had to happen. I feel really bad for him. Everyone's saying I judged it. Everyone's saying it's my fault. I can assure you it's not. I asked him. It wasn't. I asked him how he was. He says he was fine. There was about 40 other fans and people there that he was all touching and taking pictures with and saying hello to. That's just what it is, you know. Unfortunately, maybe his hamstring wasn't as good as he thought it was. Hopefully, he's still all right. But Wan-Bissaka coming in, you know, onto him. He was steady when he came on. And actually, I remember when we were talking before Dalot came back, when Wan-Bissaka played those first 3 games after the World Cup, and played himself right into contention, to the point where, okay, we know that Dalot is still first choice, and rightly so. He's earned that spot. But the fact that, you know, the prospect of Wan-Bissaka having to come in against Man City, I'm fine with that. I don't see that as a problem at all. So roll on Manchester City, roll on the big games, and now we're going into a period where we've taken care of the teams that, you know, if we play to our top level, or not even top level because we haven't been at our top level throughout all of them games, but if we play to a decent standard, we should win those games. Now we're getting into the business end. Man City home, Palace away, Arsenal away. If we can get, you know, a solid, nice little run out of those games and get, you know, Marcel's talk about 7 points. Imagine we got 9. Imagine that, you know. But if we can come out of that unscathed and still be in and around where we are, I think that sets us up nicely for a big push towards something special this season, or even just if it's top 4, it doesn't matter what it is, but just pushing higher up the league, and just sets us up for a nice finish, a big push towards the end of the season, because we've worked hard for this. But it can be a leveller. It can be a leveller because, listen, we were in great form going into that City game at the Etihad, and look what happened. You know, we got absolutely dismantled, and that needs to not happen here at Old Trafford on Saturday, and this place will be rocking, and we will want revenge for that, but we've got to do it correctly. We couldn't have prepared any better in the lead up to it, winning every single game, but now we've got to do it when it really matters against Manchester City. My man of the match tonight, Garnacho, Rashford. I thought Martinez was really good. Harry Maguire did okay today as well. I'm gonna go for Martinez. I'm gonna go for Martinez, actually. I was gonna give it to Rashford because he just came on and was really good, and scored his goals. But I just want to give it to Martinez. I think he was really assured. I think he was confident in the pass, confident in dealing with quite a big striker as well. you know, used his kind of awareness and his understanding of the game to make sure there was no harm coming to us, as well as Harry Maguire as well. So that was good. And I want to shout out Facundo Pellistri as well. You know, I thought he was good. He gets an assist as well. And you know what? For a kid who doesn't get much minutes, he came on and had a good impact on the game. You know, got an assist as well for Rashford too. So yeah, big up to him. And when, you know, we see the likes of Anthony Elanga struggling for a little bit of form, why not try Pellistri? Give him a go when Anthony gets tired or Garnacho gets tired, or we need to switch it up a little bit as well. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and roll on City. Peace.